learned to walk when I was 1 beneath the Oklahoma sun. And from that day, I started taking my own route. I learned to read when I was 2, and I believe it all was true. Too young to fill my mind with questions and with doubt. I made my first friend when I was 3, but by 4 he moved away so very far from me.
바나나랑 떡 플러스 워머살 감자 전분 새송이랑 깻잎 무초밥 김밥 햄 불닭볶음면 당근 털기
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light.
화구를 선택하여 주십시오. 대기 화면으로 전환되었습니다. 전환되었습니다. 전원을 차단합니다.
런 로얄 개모마일이랑 피치 오롱 이렇게 2개 먹을 거예요.
Drifting on the ocean, sometimes I pass by an island. There's nothing there for me. Move on as the wind blows, hoping to wash up on that shore. And the sand will hold me. Ooh.
전환되었습니다.
shoved me out before the nest was cold. I couldn't fly. God, I tried. I hit the ground and I was on my own, alone in a big blue land with only my legs to stand and no one to lend a hand or to pick me up. I see the sky where you would fly. I